Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here in South Florida. The track is fast, turf is firm today, and Brian, we've got a nice little Rainbow Six carryover.
Yeah, and we get back to some normalcy. As Samantha said, the turf is firm, so that's great to see. We're back to the 4-day race week. The weather looks beautiful, and as she said also, $150,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. I've got a ticket today. Ron going to be out for a few days, so $200,000. See, it goes so quickly you lose sight of it a little bit. So $200,000. Don't forget, it's a 9-race card today too. 10 races tomorrow as we back into some of those races that we lost out on last week. Really good cards Saturday, especially as well. I was getting to that this morning. So $200,000 in race 4. A lot to look forward to on that firm turf course.
It is, and starting off today and this week is our first two-year-old race of the season. It's always an exciting time, isn't it?
Yeah, for no doubt. We had a couple of them drawn last week. They're going to run back today and tomorrow, and it looks like, very early on in the season, but it looks like there's some talent assembled, some homebreds assembled, and, we saw it last year. It started with Lynx and Awesome Strong on the way to the series, the Stallion Series, to reworked a little bit this year, but hope always springs eternal with the 2-year-olds.
It does, and kicking off in the first race, we do have the early pick 5, and as always, Brian's on pick 5 duties.
Yeah, we'll take a look at my ticket here, $48, and I kind of think I'm using the 3 logical ones. I did like the 1 Sun Azteca, but the rail on the redraw is a little problematic. The single and the best bet is Mr. Tito's in race 2. In race number 3, 4-3, Seize the Breeze, a few scratches in there, lost my top pick, and then a 4x4 double to get out of this sequence. Number 8, Trotting Gear on top in the 4th. Now, my long shot wasn't initially a long shot at 5-1 on the morning line, Boston Princess, but I think now, Samantha, key draw in with the 9, French Franc. I think everybody's going to go upwards because she's going to be a pretty good favorite.
Yeah, she will, and we're going to get to that race soon, but I think that's a race that's a little more wide open than French Franc there. But in this opener, 4.5 furlongs for the 2-year-olds, and just disclaimer on these races, I think you can look at stats, which we're going to show. You can look at work replays, but it really all kind of has to do with how they're acting as well. So we'll keep note of that. Of course, I'll be out there with you as far as prior to the race to just kind of do some comments. But for me, at least, since I'm a pretty visual person, it's hard to blindly pick some of these horses. You try to get as much information as you can, but you cannot always. But as far as stats go, Jose D'Angelo, you have got an interesting one for the 1 that's taking a lot of money.
Yeah, it's very early to betting, but she's 3-5 right now with Sun Azteca, and this is a pretty good stat for Jose. 5 for 24, 21%. Look at the big ROI. First-time starters in dirt sprints the past 5 years. Now, again, this is a redraw from last week, and Sun Azteca, unfortunately, she was better drawn last time. The rail is a little problem. I had initially put her on top last week. I reworked my pick because, you can talk about this more, but a light, unraced 2-year-old at this time of the year, breaking from inside, boy, you better break.
Yeah, you really have to, and sometimes they can tend to break towards the inside. I always talk about breaking towards the daylight.
Yeah.
It's just not a spot you want to be, especially the outside as well. It's kind of pick your poison, but I think she comes from a pretty nice family, and Sharp Azteca, they're 9 for 90 first time out, so a small sample, but it's not horrible here. But I think that this is a horse worth looking at here, and this is a barn that's been really strong lately, so I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see there. But I went a little bit of a different direction, and I'll show you the work replay, and this kind of was a blessing in disguise, getting moved a little bit to these a week later, because I was actually able to see these horses work. Now, this is actually Avellino here on the outside. Now, this horse was a scratch, guys, so pardon us about that here. This horse is actually running tomorrow, but it was the Arundel horses, Mist and Cherokee, that worked together on Sunday. Here you see him here. Yep, thanks, guys. And I was actually out on the track and watched these horses work. Now, on the inside is Cherokee here, and on the outside is Mist, and I like the way Cherokee worked. Now, this is very small filly, and as you can see, the gallop rider, he's a tall guy, but this is also a really small filly, as you can see. But she just kind of worked in hand the whole time. Cherokee just tried to kind of keep up, and Mist just never really could get there. So I think out of the two, probably Cherokee's going to be the one to beat here. I guess we'll just kind of wait and see, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're both, Arundel wins a lot of these races, precocious horses. You know, we'll see what we get today. The Mist is by Brethren. There's a lot to like with both of them. The early money right now is on Sun Azteca, but, you know, Arundel debuted Lynx last year in these kinds of spots and went on to do such good things, so you always have to pay attention with those.
Race number 2 here, start of the early pick 4. I put a ticket together, and I feel like this is a pretty good sequence here. I do have my best bet in race number 3, and that is Seize the Breeze at 5-1. This is the first time gelding for Ralph Nix. Excited to see this horse. Race number 4, this is the start of the Rainbow Six. A lot of coverage here. The 2, Ria Formosa, is my top pick. I feel like Black Ice is a trap here,
Yeah,
but we're going to get to that in just a second. And in race 5, I don't think it's as easy as going down with French Frank. I did add this horse in late, but feel like a lot of these horses, especially your Thoroughgraphs guy, Brian, they all are kind of running those 11s and 12s, and somebody can certainly break through on the grass. Also note the rails are out at 70 feet today, so that could be problematic for French Frank as well, but $28 the play for me.
Yeah, she's going to be way out there. It's not a good post position anyway, now with the rails out as well. So, yeah, I mean, just she's going to be a strong favorite, so, you know, it might be a good spot to try to beat her.
Yep, it will be. So this race, a mile on our fast main track here today, and an interesting race. We kind of saw it a little bit differently here. I've got a replay, though, I wanted to show of Rhymes Like Dimes, Brian. I know this horse is kind of popping up a little bit in class, but I just love the way this horse ran last time.
No, he ran very, very well. Jen Young does a pretty decent job off the claim. This was for Saffie Joseph Jr., but you can see him level out here nicely in the lane. Now he is 4-5, but he's really extending late. He likes this one-turn mile that we have here. He's in very, very good form, and we'll see if he can handle the rise, but it looks like Jen claimed him at the right time because he's better than ever.
Exactly, and you have to strike while the iron's hot on these type of horses. And the horse that ran third, Rebelled, won this weekend. And here comes Bold, who ran second to Rebelled. So I think that this horse deserves a lot of attention, but Mr. Tito's finally getting a little bit of a class drop.
Yeah, I mean, he's my best bet of the day. He's third choice on the line. To me, he's a single, and I think you got to get some value that way. He's got to be about 8-5 in here, doesn't he? It's a huge class drop. You can see his form. He's never been in with a group like this. It's such a drop for him. He's run relatively well against some, you know, Hercules, American Prince, Giant Game. Those horses are 1-5 in a group like this. And the other thing I like too, the last 2 races Mr. Tito's comes out of, he got run off his feet a little bit. They're not going to be going that fast early on. It's going to keep him a lot closer. I'm kind of willing to sink or swim with a horse like him because he hasn't seen a group like this really in any type of his form.
It must be like ever. He is 6 years old, but he's just so solid, and he loves this track too. 6 wins out of 8 of them here on this track. So will be an interesting race to kind of see how it plays out. We both have some interest in the 1, Hard Bell, coming off of a layoff, but I kind of like a freshness edge here.
Yeah, no, this horse is fine. I mean, you can draw a line through the race at Gulfstream back in November because you can see that it just checked out of it right at the start.
Yeah.
So you look at the races around him, and he's running very, very well. Victor Barboza, we've mentioned it time and time again. I think he's going to really get going. I just, you know, if he's the favorite, which I don't think he will be, it's a tough price to take. The layoff, he was all out to win for 20 at Tampa. This is a better group today, too, I think.
It is, definitely. It'll be an interesting race to see. Now, race number 3, a maiden $35,000 race. We did lose a couple in this spot. The 1, Faith, and the 5, Sound Doctrine, are out of this spot. And both landed on the same horse here, Seize the Breeze. First time gelding, you know I love that here, and a nice solid string of work pattern. This horse is actually working this time last year for debut, but sometimes just horses can, as they're 2-year-olds, it's taking them a bit to develop, can get bone bruising or a little bit of some shin issues, but this horse is back in for the maiden claiming ranks here. I do have a replay, though, of some of the horses that remain in this field. They all have run against each other. That's Solomon's Gold, Eventful. Thank you, Bob. Wow, good job with this. Sound Doctrine. I mean, these are pretty much the whole competition here as we kind of started. And, you know, we both played against all of these horses, and I think this is a good way to show why.
Yeah, I had Sound Doctrine, who's going to actually be fourth in this race. He's out. I initially had him on top because at least he's got some upside.
Right.
No one else in here. And here's Father Delay, runs off the screen for at 3 to 5 for Maker and Dub. You can see it here. We just don't really want anybody out of this race.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line. And the one horse I did want out of this race is Scratch. So the also rans, you know, they're way back and they kind of all hit the line together.
Right.
And I don't see a lot of upside with any of them. Eventful has had his chances, and, you know, so is Solomon's Gold at 0 for 9. So let's take the fresh new face.
Yeah, you have to. And by the end of that replay, you see Eventful kind of looked like he was going to run by Solomon's Gold and just hung.
Yeah.
I can't make any case for him.
Nope, not the H word. I don't like it. And Cajun Breeze, 19% first-time starters,
Yep.
and Ralph does such a good job with his. We got the stat on Ralph too. I think we're going to show here to see what he's kind of doing here. And this is a prolonged sample too. For 5 years, he's 20% with a positive ROI. Dirt sprints, maiden claiming first-time starters. It's kind of a little niche, and Ralph
Yep.
does it very, very well. So, you know, I think this is clearly now with the Scratch the horse we want in here.
Race number 4 we're going to get to in just a second. We've got a short break, and when we come back, Brian did the Rainbow Six today, so good luck. You're on the hot
Yeah,
seat.
I know.
We'll be back shortly.
And they're off.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Samantha Perry and Brian Nato here on this beautiful day, kicking off a nice week of 4 days of racing here. And it is now Rainbow Six time.
$200,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. It grows quite quickly, and I've got the ticket today, and I'm spreading early, and I'm a lot more condensed late. We'll kind of throw a blanket at these first 2 races, a 4x4 early double in race. We'll get to the 4th in a second. Then my long shot I mentioned at Boston Princess in race number 5, and then back-to-back 3 balls with number 2 Wildcat Star in race 6, and race 7 number 2 More Strength, and then a late double that's a single, especially with the Scratch, a blind spot. You know, Don't Look Back at All is going to be a monster favorite in there. And Big Balloons, to me, in the nightcap, Samantha, it's one of those races. I'm going to take him, or I'm going to take 6 or 8 of them, and I don't
Yep.
want to do that. 28.80, and I got to be perfectly honest with you. I could probably have singled in race 7 with the 2 in there, and that is More Strength, and then really get crazy early on. But here's your 28.80 ticket. We tell, you know, Ron and I talk about this a lot on Gulfstream today, or with you for that matter too. You know, this might not be the sequence to look for something that's not
Right.
there. Take a more condensed point of view today. Maybe try to hit it a few times, especially with the late pick 4, late pick 5 that we've got coming up too. And, you know, maybe don't look for something that's not there. There's some
Yeah.
favorites that are they're supposed to win today.
Exactly, yep, and you have to take
Yep.
those when you can get them because it's not all the time
Right.
that you do. But this race here, I feel like is not one of those.
No, this is a good one to start
Yeah.
off the sequence. There's no doubt about it.
So 1 mile on our fast main track here, and our old friend Black Ice. She's just, I never know what to do with her.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. You see my picks up there, okay?
Right.
And I'm giving 4 horses that I used in the Rainbow Six, okay? And I'm never, ever using Black Ice to win,
Right,
as
yeah.
my partner is never doing that either. She's going to hit the board, okay? But I'm not going to put her in there because I like to use my picks that
Right.
are there on top, theoretically,
Right.
in the Rainbow. You could argue the race goes to her. She ran fine last time, getting to the dirt, too. And I like what they did last time. They
Yeah.
took the initiative. They put her on the lead. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to get the picture taken. It's as simple as
No,
that.
Yeah, she's allergic to the winner's
Yeah.
circle, I think, and you know, we might just be putting her in the winner's circle
Yeah,
here
maybe.
today. But I'm willing to to do that because we can't. We've burned a lot of money. She's burned a lot of money with her, and I think after the first time, we all collectively were like, nah, this is not for us. Yeah. But the number 8, this is an interesting one for Terry Pompey. Gervin, a filly by Gervin, who's been so precocious first time out, or second, third time. These first few handfuls of starts been really well.
Yeah, and we've talked about, upside in races like these. If nothing else, Trotting Gear has it. She's only been out twice. She's only run on the main track once. Terry is not a trainer that's going to crank them up on debut. So the debut to me, which was for a quarter, wasn't terrible. Blinkers go on. We get some weight off. To me, she's controlling in here. And when you're talking about a mediocre bunch, let's be honest, with several who the losses are adding up, I like being in front.
Yeah. You have to be, and hopefully she can break, a little bit of braking issues the past two starts. But you can maybe excuse that just due to the fact that it's the first two starts out ever for this horse. Now, the number 2, a 4-year-old in this spot here. Now, we're getting to that time of year where the 3-year-olds are integrating with the 4-year-olds. I would rather take a 4-year-old, but sometimes it's circumstantial. We see some races that are not as strong, which this is kind of one of them here. Ria Formosa, this is a horse taking a necessary drop as well. I mean, they claimed this horse for 12.5.
Right.
So, the fact that she was kind of getting a little bit of a check here and the $20,000 is a good sign, but this is her spot.
Yeah, and she got to the dirt last time. It was 5.5. She didn't break. She checked out of it right at the start, so she's immediately behind the 8 ball. Hopefully she can be a little closer today on the stretch out because I don't want to be too far out of this kind of race because I don't see anybody, really intent on passing anyone.
No. Race number 5 here. This is the start of the late pick 5. I have a ticket together. We're on the grass, a firm turf course here. We're going to get to this race in just a second. In race number 6, the 2 Wildcat Star, that's my top pick in that spot. Race number 7, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta track. The number 8, Parchita, is my long shot of the day. I don't know if we'll get 6-1, but if anything near it, I'm playing. Race number 8, the 2 is my top pick. That's Alternate Rock. I've got a little snippet of a replay that I think makes a good case for this horse, but the Clement horse will be tough to beat. And in race 9, like you, Big Balloons is my anchor here. And when I say big balloons, that will not be a big balloon of a price, but $42 is the play here. And, there's a couple races you could probably single, maybe the 8th single, but I'm just going to use a little bit more here, and I like the ticket here.
Yeah, and you're using a horse in race 8 that just basically, essentially by default, is going to be a big price in the sequence because Don't Look Back at All, could be 2 to 5 in that race, especially with Blind Spot coming out, who is going to take some money. So if you can get, this is a type of race where, let's say the winner pays $16. Well, that winner might be, twice that in the picks because everybody's going to be singling the heavy favorite there.
So this race here, 1 mile, rails are at 70 feet. So that means the outside horses might have a little bit of an issue here. And I was texting with this yesterday. We have never had the rails at 70 feet with the championship meet and here. So it's fresh ground. We'll kind of have to maybe wait and see how this plays out. But the number 3 for you was your top pick, Boston Princess. Ronnie Spatz, he had a nice win last week. And what do we do with this filly?
Yeah, on the reclaim, and she had a nightmare post last time, so I'm willing to excuse it. And she ran okay, actually, and she got fried. What happened was she got fried chasing a very strong winner that day, and she came out of it. Well, now we're much better drawn. There's not a lot of, there's speed in here, but nothing crazy that she needs to be involved with. So I think she trips out a little bit better. And I had her as a long, quote-unquote, long shot anyway before French Franc draw in. And now that she does, the price should be better. And, you've heard us hint at it already. French Franc is, to me, very, very vulnerable from a very tricky draw, and the rails are out 70 feet.
And I think it says a lot about this filly that she was taken from Ronnie Spatz for 12.5. He dropped in for 20. So
it's a confident move. The reclaim in and of itself is confident, and then what Samantha says, it's even better.
Yeah, it is. She'll be a very interesting player. And French Franc, I just kind of feel like this is a filly that's a trap, but she's been claimed, and also another reclaim for Liz Dobles, but I just thought she had to win last time.
And not only did she not win, she didn't even run second. She wasn't that close either, and I agree with you totally. I had her singled that day. had to win. And
Yeah.
we've said that before. And a lot of times these horses, as Samantha said, they can be traps. She's going to be a very, very short price in here, 9 to 5 on the morning line.
Yeah.
We lose charge account. That allows her to draw in. Now, it's a confident move that they want to run from an outside draw, but this is a type of horse that, is going to take a lot of people down with them if they're tight in this race, not only in the Rainbow, but the pick 5 as well.
The number 1 Spectacular Gal, we've got a stat on Bobby DeBona here. This is my top pick, and I'll let you key up the stat.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's not going to flatter you much.
No.
Not a huge sample, but Bobby is a 20s kind of guy, and percentage, that is, percentage. And he's 1 for 15 and on the turf here the past year. Now, this horse is got proven turf form, so maybe you can be a little more forgiving. And I think you'll probably agree that the post is a big deal for this horse today with the rails out.
Most definitely. Race number 6 in this spot here. Start of the late pick 4, 5 furlongs on the Tapeta track, a maiden $16,000 level. You've got a ticket?
Yeah, so the scratch knocks it down to $4.50. I got to be honest with you, I could have played it for $1.50. I could have given you a 3 by 1 by 1 by 1. Not going to do that. In race number 8, we lose that. We lose the 8. I should have, excuse me, that was my bad. It's $4.50. The back-to-back singles is my fault on that, the wrong update. 6-4 at the end. Again, we've talked about this already. I think this is not a sequence you want to be too expansive, but here's a ticket at $4.50. Maybe you can punch it 4 or 5 times. You turn $4.50 into 38, and you multiply that by 4, and then no pun intended, you're off to the races.
Yeah, you are. And sometimes those small tickets get at home. So it doesn't have to be that creative all the time. Now, this is a race where you don't particularly trust anybody in this spot here. Now, the number 2, we both landed on Wildcat Star. She's a 4-year-old facing a couple of 3-year-olds. Blinkers go on here, and Lionel Reyes, he knows this filly well.
Yeah, and the blinkers, I think, are significant because, to me, she's the controlling speed in here now, especially with the blinkers. And we know on the Tapeta, when you're sprinting the snappy 5.5, being in front or at the very least being close is not a bad thing. The old put up or shut up time for her today, I think, because this is her group.
Exactly, it is. And the number 5 Breaking Bullet, another one she's had some chances and really stepped up well last time, but at 25 to 1, I mean, nobody's playing her. How can you trust a 7 to 5 right now?
Exactly. And I would probably think Wildcat Star gets favored, but that's not the point. Samantha said it perfectly. She was 25 to 1 last time, and now she's going to be something to 5 in here. She had a dream trip last time, still couldn't get it done. I will give her credit, though. I will give her credit. You're coming out of 2-turn races. You can get run off your feet a little bit. She did run well. I don't want to beat her up too much, but again, it's a short price in here.
It is. Race number 7, a late pick 3 opportunity, 5.5 furlongs, $35,000 claiming price for fillies 3-year-olds or fillies and mares 4 and up, which have never won 2. 5.5 on the Tapeta in this spot here. And I've got a replay of My Lady James. This is a filly that we have just a little bit in our picks kind of sprinkled in, but I think she ran really well for as wide as she was in this spot last time, and that was in February. She's got a little bit of a freshening up. Took her a bit to switch leads, but she did it a few jumps ago, and I'm willing to give her another shot.
Yeah, I actually thought she was going to win off the far turn, and she kind of came out of it a little bit. This Claudio Gonzalez is the first time now since he got going in South Florida that we've seen him struggle a little bit. And I feel like it's just a matter of time before the barn turns over. He's done very, very good work with the apprentice, Angel Morales, and he got to know her a little bit last time as well, or he's ridden her before, excuse me. I feel like she's going to run well in here. I think more strength, though, might be a bridge too far for her.
Yeah, she is, and she's ran against some pretty tough horses. Sometimes these huge drops like this kind of worry me.
Yeah, I mean, they're not giving her away, to be fair. But, you make a decent enough point because she's been running against better. Now, she hasn't been running that well. Yeah. Maybe this is just the group for her. But, we'll see. She's in for 35. Easier said than done. And your long shot's in here, right? Yeah,
Parchita coming from the Jose D'Angelo barn. I think this horse has enough speed to kind of be in the early flight of horses, but not too far. Hasn't been on the Tapeta since she did break her maiden last July. and a bit of a layoff to answer to, but I think she's just going to improve off
Yeah.
of that start coming back off the layoff.
No, I think getting off the rail will help her as
Yes.
well. Jose just walked by, maybe a little karma angle
Yeah, there you
as
go.
well. So I think she's a player in here.
Yeah, race number 8 here. This is 1 mile on the grass course. We take out the number 8 blind spot in here, and an interesting field. The number 2 alternate rock. Now, you don't have this filly included.
Yeah.
I might change your mind, or maybe
right.
not, depending on how stubborn you are. But this is a filly
Very.
that I think she's been dying to stretch out here. We've got a replay of just the gallop out, and this is just a small little sliver that I could piece together. Now, there she is on the inside. Now, this was on the Tapeta here. Just was very impressive to get that win, and she just keeps going, which you like to see. I mean, he's not moving at all, and now I know the fact that this horse is kind of getting pulled up, but I've watched her do this time and time again at Monmouth. Whenever she did run in the Colleen Stakes, she ran second that day. She flew past the field here, and they've tried a couple different things with her. I think the turf is her footing. I think she'll suit this turf quite a bit here, because that Monmouth turf is kind of a bit sturdy like it is here as well. I think that she's reaching that point where she's going to be able to take the 2 turns.
Well, I mean, she's by alternation, who couldn't alternation. Excuse me, they couldn't write a race long enough for him back in the day. So that bodes well. And I do think if you're going to beat, don't look back at all. It might be on the lead. Maybe the horse forgets to stop. I mean, I would think that they're aggressive with this horse early on, especially with his post position.
Yeah, you have to be with a spot like this. Now, you do have 2 turns to come in, kind of deal with, but I think it's better. Don't look back at all. I mean, this horse could probably, on paper, can air this field.
Yeah, I mean, she might literally be 1 to 5 in here. The scratch is big, too, because blind spot coming out of graded stakes is going to take some money, and she's got a lot of class for Christophe Clement. Now, she's never tried 2 turns, so there's, food for thought there. And they didn't get her to the race. I don't know why, but they didn't get her to the races during the championship meet. So, that might be noteworthy as well. But at least from a class perspective and a post perspective, she's mighty tough in here.
She is, and I just kind of wondered if maybe she was that kind of quality. Wouldn't she have shipped to go to Keeneland maybe? Or this is a good starting point to leg her up onto Saratoga.
Yeah. We'll see what we get today. But, if you're ever going to beat a horse like this, it might be today, off the long break.
Exactly. Race number 9, our finale on the card. 5.5 furlongs on our dirt track, made $16,000. We're taking out the number 2 Mouse Fast in this spot, too. I'm hoping we'll end up, end up in my backyard one day. But the number 4 Big Balloons, like we keep alluding to, it will not be big balloons at all. This horse is going to be way lower than 2 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't tell you to go to the window on this horse, but this is a type of way you can get value on this horse, if that's even such a thing, to single at the end of all your horizontals. And we're made in special weight dropper into 16 off 1 race. So, that's a little worrisome. This horse actually took a little money on debut.
Yeah.
It was 11 to 1. It wasn't like he was 62 to 1 or anything. Chased and tired. It wasn't the best maiden special weight. We're going to run here. I just feel like it's his spot, and just maybe get the win. And if somebody wants to claim him, that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly. I like the dirt work, as you can see back before this horse even debuted. I'm sure the 11 to 1 was coming off that bullet from the gate work, the 47 and 4. So the number 9 I put in here, Brian. Now this is just a horse maybe underneath the Son of Practical Joke, who's 15% first time out, and gelded. Lionel Reyes, he's good at bringing in big balloons. Not this big balloon, but this one.
Well, this horse hasn't started, and there's a slew of works here. And I think the former point I made is significant because of the rest of these horses. They're no great shakes at all. Maybe you get a little value underneath, and Lionel, we like him a lot. So Samantha said, long shot after long shot during the championship meet.
Yep, and the one Papa del Cielo. Might have some upside 3rd time around.
Yeah, and another maiden special weight dropper. The rail is not ideal, but like she said, I mean, he comes out of the a la carte Mr. Peaks race.
Exactly, yep.
I will mention last shift was not good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. So we'll have to maybe wait and see on if that's a major key race, as Ron would say. I don't think it is. We'll see what a la carte does next. But and Mr. Peaks as well. Kind of interested to see that horse get back, hopefully, to the main special weight ranks. That is our card today here, but don't go away yet. We've got a lightning round,
Yep.
and it is not legendary or dairy because Brian did it. I'm just kidding.
We got the standings, though. We're
Yeah.
just, easing into the Royal Palm meet. We got 6 racing days so far, but Edgar Zayas is setting a pretty prolific pace there, and he's trying to double up everybody else. Again, very, very early on, and
Right.
then the trainers as well. Safi, I feel confident in saying Safi's not going to have a problem winning this title.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. But Steve Dwoskin,
Yeah.
he's getting on it.
Less is more for Steve, and we like him a lot. Eddie Gray talked to him the other day, I know, and this is Steve's time. He does a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he does, and it's always good to kind of get some prices on his horses because they don't bet him as much, but they better
Yeah.
catch on quick because it comes. And your best bet today?
Yeah, best bet today is in race 2, Mr. Tito's for me.
I believe mine is the 4 sees the breeze.
go.
There we go, sees the breeze. Yep, and race number 3, the 4 here in long shot.
Yeah, Boston Princess in race 5, and we should go up from that 5-1
Yeah.
morning line, the fact that French Frank draws into the race
Yep,
now.
I'd probably say 6 or 7
Yeah.
to 1 here. And mine is Parchita coming in race number 7, 6 to 1, the 8 horse. And like we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
we're getting into our future superstars, hopefully, here in the first 2-year-old races.
Yeah, it'll be race 1 today, and we're going to show you Lynx winning last year, and she went on to do really, really good things. This is her debut, which is a really nice debut. She actually came from off the pace, and when you do that as a 2-year-old
Oh,
in April
yeah.
or May, I mean, I golf clap to you. She went on to do some really good things for Arundel, and they got a couple in the first race today as well. The Mist and Cherokee, and right now Sun Azteca taking all the money, but always exciting to get the juveniles back going here.
It is, and it's a fun time of year, and excited to see them as they progress. Now, a little bit of somberness here. We lost somebody very pertinent in South Florida training.
Yeah, Ralph Zaidi passed away, 84 years old, and he was a legend down here in South Florida for many, many years. This is Sir Bear winning the Broward here in 1998, and Sir Bear actually went on to win the Met Mile and Cigar Mile and earned a couple $1 million, and very, very cool and game horse. 1998, the old Gulfstream, as good as it gets. And so, condolences to all his family and friends. Ralph Zaidi, 84 years old.
And on some positive news, our sister track, Santa Anita on the West Coast, is back.
Yeah, they're going to be back tomorrow, and they've got what they call the Hollywood Meet here, and that's April 21st to June 18th. It's going to take you through the Triple Crown season as well. They've got a lot of big days planned out there, so good to see our buddies out west back in the entry box.
Yeah, it is. It's turned into my get-out track, so I enjoyed the break this weekend, but it's going to suck me right back in, as will the card today. Thank you guys for joining us on Gulfstream today. We'll be with you throughout the day, myself, Brian, and Claudia Spadaro as well, and let's pick some winners today.
Yeah, we'll try. Upstairs to Pete. He'll run you through the card, and we'll be back here for the opener for the 2-year-olds.